Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on Rhythm Hoops. Today, with NBA opening night being tomorrow, October 21st on Tuesday, we're going to be doing my season predictions of the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference in their standings. And as you can tell by my shirt, we are going to be doing the Western Conference in this episode and the Eastern Conference in the next episode. And bear with me here, I feel a little out of it and sick. And so if my voice is quieter than normal, then yeah, you'll know that I'm not feeling too good. But let's get right into it. We're going to do from the 15 seed all the way down to the first seed. And so I took a lot of consideration into this. And hopefully you guys like what I listed. If you don't, tell me. If you think I'm right, then tell me. If you think I'm wrong, then tell me. But let's get right into it. Starting off with the 15 seed, I have the Utah Jazz. I have the Utah Jazz at the 15 seed because I think their season's just going to be the same or even as worse as last year. They were the 15 seed last year. I think they even got like 14 wins. They might win more, but I don't think they're going to get past that 15 because they might trade Laurie in the middle of the season. They traded John Collins, Colin Sexton, like a bunch of their good guys. A bunch of their role players haven't been doing that good. Their rookies from last year haven't been doing that good. Ace Bailey's in a lot of controversy right now with his agent, but he seems to be doing better. But yeah, I just don't see the Utah Jazz being better than they were last year. At the most, I see them being the same as last year. But that's just my opinion. Okay, now we're going on to the 14 seed. This one was tough because if you guys know, the Western Conference is really, really good this year. So this one might surprise you guys. It might not. But I have the Phoenix Suns at the 14th seed. And the reason I put the Suns at the 14th seed is because they lost KD. D-Book might even get traded in the middle of the season, kind of like marking on the Jazz. Jalen Green is out till end of November. Dylan Brooks is gonna get into a good amount of controversy. Mark Williams is just not a good center. Neither is Kamen Malawach. They don't have a true point guard. Bradley Beal's gone. Kevin Durant's gone. And Devin Booker gets injured a lot, so I just don't see them being good this year. I don't see them being better than they were last year. I think they went 38-44 last year, and then they were the 12th seed, I think. But yeah, I just don't see them being close to the play-in. Okay, now with the 13th seed, I have the Portland Trail Blazers, and I know a lot of people have high expectations for the Portland Trail Blazers. People are calling them the smaller Rockets and the next up-and-coming Spurs. But, they just have to develop. Scoot Henderson has to develop. He was terrible his rookie season. He would have almost won Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt and was not that good. But he needs to improve. Donovan Clingan needs to improve. Shaden Sharp needs to improve. Their entire rosters need to improve. They traded away their best player in Anthony Simons this season. They did get Damian Lillard back, which is a big win for them, but he's not going to play at all this season. He would only play if they went to the playoffs, and I don't even see them making the play-in. And then they have Drew Holiday. He's just old, and then they have a bunch of other old guys, and so I just don't see them being. They're kind of like the Suns. They have one decent guy. They have one good guy, and then a bunch of decent guys around him. And so I just don't. Yeah, I see them being a decent team. They could make a push for play-in, but I don't see them making the play-in. Next, we've got the Sacramento Kings, who just signed the one-time MVP Russell Westbrook, and this might shock you that I put them at the 12 seed because they have DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Russell Westbrook now. But even with all those guys, the only person they didn't have last year was Russell Westbrook, and they were still the 12 seed, just like I have them right now. And plus Sabonis, there's talks about Levine and DeRozan getting traded at the trade deadline and the Kings starting their rebuild. Like, they were trying to get Kuminga. They were trying to get Kuminga from the Warriors the whole offseason. They're not good. Like, they had their fun back in 2023 where they almost went to the Western Conference Finals. Actually, no, they weren't even close to the Western Conference Finals. The Warriors are the 6th seed and knocked them out in the first round. But, like, that just shows that, like, they're not meant for the playoffs. And so that's why I have them at the 12 seed because, like I said, like, in a normal world, if, like, the Kings were in the Eastern Conference, they'd make the playoffs. They have such a good team. But the West is so good and so talented that I have them at the 12 seed because of that. Now, I went back and forth, but I think this might happen. But I have the Memphis Grizzlies at the 11th seed. And, like, everybody expects the Grizzlies to do decent this year. I don't. They lost Desmond Bane, who was a really good piece for them. Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant can't hold this team up by themselves. Ja's always going to be in and out of trouble and injuries. Jaren's always going to be in injuries. Jalen Wells is still injured. Zach Edey is probably going to get injured in the middle of the season because of his height. Like, they can't stay healthy. Like, I remember last year they were playing my favorite team, the Warriors, and their entire roster, their entire starting five was their bench players. Like, the Warriors had to let Draymond Curry and Jimmy Butler rest because the Grizzlies were using some G League players and an entire starting five of their bench players because they had nobody on the roster. And so, I just don't see them making the play-in. They might make it in as the 10 seed. I don't see them making it. Maybe you do if you're a Grizzlies fan. Don't hate me. But, that's just where I have them. Now, going into the play-in, I have, for the first time in a while, the San Antonio Spurs making the play-in. Hear me out. Even though people are going to say, oh, Wemby's the only one who can do anything on the team, everybody else is going to get hurt. That might be true. But Wemby is so good to me that you don't have to have a good roster to put around him. Like, obviously, if you want to make a push for the finals, yes, you're going to have to. And they do. They have De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. They have Jeremy Sohan. They have Keldon Johnson. They have Devin Vassell. They have such a good young roster. That's why I have them in the play-in, because if you saw Wemby's offseason, he literally went to China, trained with monks, ran up the Great Wall of China, trained with Kevin Garnett, Shaq, Hakeem. He literally trained with everybody you could. He did meditation in China with monks. This guy literally had the greatest summer of all time and grew 3 or 4 inches. Now he's 7'5", 7'7". So you have a 7'6" height player who is a top 5 player in the league according to ESPN right now, who can give you 3-pointers on any given night, can dunk the ball without even jumping. He's just a demigod. And this is only his 3rd season. And so he can everybody knows if he plays 65 games, he's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year. But he can make a run for MVP as well. And if he does win MVP, he'd be the youngest MVP in NBA history, which would be crazy. Because the latest youngest MVP is Derrick Rose, and he still holds that title, which he actually just retired, I think, Derrick Rose. But yeah, so I have the Spurs at the 10 seed. Now, moving on to the 9 seed, I have the newly improved Pool Party Pelicans at the 9 seed. Because now, this one might shock some people, but Zion is looking amazing. We always say that every single year, but if you saw his press conferences, he looks amazing. He was back to doing 360 windmill dunks in preseason. He was averaging 30 points a game in preseason. He was doing crazy stuff. Then they have Jordan Poole, who's doing pretty good right now. He was doing decent in the preseason. They just have a good roster, like Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, DeJounte Murray, even though he's out till January. But they just have a good roster that I think they all fit together. Like, imagine Jordan Poole throwing half-court lobs to Zion, dunking it. That's just going to be crazy on the Pelicans. That's why I have the Pelicans at the 9 seed. I would have them higher if DeJounte Murray was healthy to start the season, but he's not going to be back till the start of 2026. So that's why I have them at the 9. Now, going in at the number 8 is now the Aspiration Clippers. And you might call them old. You might say they're in a lot of controversy. But when you look at their roster, they still have a pretty good roster. Like James Harden, All-Star, Kawhi Leonard, All-Star, Bradley Beal, good role player, Brook Lopez, good role player, John Collins, good role player. They still have a really good balanced roster. And you might think, well, you just told us that, why aren't they in the playoffs? Like I said with their name, Aspiration. I think his name is Bobby Marks, came out with a report that Kawhi and the Clippers were doing some shady stuff with this tree company named Aspiration. And so now they're being investigated because Kawhi was technically getting paid to sit out games. That's why you would always say it's load management. But he got paid almost $50 million to sit out games. And so if they do find the Clippers guilty, then Kawhi would have to probably leave the team. Steve Ballmer and their assistant GM would be fired probably, and they would have to give up a bunch of money and draft picks to the NBA because Adam Silver, let's just all say it right now, he's a nutcase. He does not know what he's doing really, and so and he's let off teams super easily. And so I feel like everybody's starting to realize that maybe David Stern is one of the best GMs we've ever had, and so he might want to make the Clippers situation an example out of them to boost his value more as a GM. That's just my opinion. Don't come after me, but I'm just 13 years old. But so yeah, I have the Clippers at the 8 seed. Now at the 7 seed. I went back and forth with these 3 teams, and people will flame me in the comments for this, but I do have the Los Angeles Lakers at the 7 seed. Now, you would think LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, what a great team. They should be a playoff team, right? No. LeBron is not going to be playing until mid-November, the first time he's ever missed an opening night. LeBron literally skipped the practice to go on Kai Cenat's stream. That's how much he doesn't care anymore. I guarantee he doesn't even play 40 games this season. And then Luka's always going to be in and out of getting texts, getting ejections, sitting out games, getting hurt. He's still going to be an MVP candidate, don't get me wrong. He's one of the greatest players in the league right now. But I just don't see the way that he carried the Mavs to the finals back in 2024. I don't see him doing that with the Lakers because he had a co-star in the whole thing, which was Kyrie. But if LeBron doesn't play, how is he going to help Luka achieve his finals run? That's because Austin Reeves can't fill a Kyrie, or LeBron. He's just no, he can't do that. He can give you 20 points on any given night, but he can't fill the shoes of LeBron or a Kyrie. So that's why I have the Lakers at the 7 seed. Now, moving on to the people who will make the playoffs. This one, I did go back and forth with the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, when you look at both teams, they're both pretty good. The Warriors, even though they're old, they've got Jimmy Butler, they just got Al Horford, they have Curry back, they have Draymond, they have Brandon Podziemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, all of these good guys. Seth Curry is going to be coming mid-November, DeAnthony Melton. like, they have a really good balanced roster, and so do the Mavericks. Like, Anthony Davis looks like he's playing great. They just got the #1 pick, Cooper Flagg, who looks like he's doing amazing. They got D'Angelo Russell. They've got a lot of good young guys on their team, but Kyrie is out till January. Actually, no, it might be, yeah, I think it's January. That's why I have the Mavericks at the 6th seed and the Warriors at the 5 seed, because the Warriors are completely healthy right now, and as long as they stay healthy, like last year after the trade deadline and Jimmy Butler played his first game, we went on like a 25-3 run. And so if they can do that to start the season, and then last year we were the #1 seed for like 4 weeks. And so I think because the Mavericks don't have Kyrie as a true point guard to start the season, that the Warriors will be better than the Mavericks. Like, and oh yeah, the Mavericks also have Clay, but like Clay can give you like 20 points on a night, but he's not Game 6 Clay anymore. And so it will be fun to see the Mavs and the Warriors face off like on Christmas Day and like whenever they face off, because it's Clay versus his old team and who he was with for like 12 years. But yeah, that's my opinion. So I have the Mavericks at the 6th seed and the Warriors at the 5 seed. Now we come down to the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, the Houston Rockets, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this one took me a while to figure out because all 4 teams have a shot at the finals. Like, if there was 4 teams that could go to the Western Conference Finals, those would be the 4 teams. But only 2 can go to the Western Conference Finals. So, I put at number 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, Anthony Edwards is better than anybody that comes onto the court. Like, he can give you 40 on any given night. He can give you 10 assists, 5 rebounds. Like, he's one of those guys when you need him to do something, he'll do it. Like, he is going to be a face of this league, and he might even win an MVP once it's all said and done. But like, he just needs more help. Like, in my opinion, the Karl-Anthony Towns trade was a horrible trade. He went on to go to be an all-star and averaging like 25 points a game and almost made it to the finals last year. Well, Anthony Edwards got bounced in the Western Conference Finals. And so did Cat. But Cat was doing way better with Jalen Brunson than Julius Randle was with Anthony Edwards. And so I think if Julius Randle can pick it up a little bit, and then they also have Rudy Gobert, who didn't he win Defensive Player of the Year last year? I think he did. Or that might have been someone else, but I swear he won it. And so like they have a good roster. Like, they have Rob Dillingham, they have Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards. They have like all of these good players. They just need to execute it. Like, they've been to the Western Conference Finals the last like 3 years, but haven't been able to finish the job. And so that's why I have them at the 4 seed. Now, we're down to the top 3, and I think this was the standings last year, but I have the Denver Nuggets at the 3rd seed. And you might think, oh, well, the Nuggets lost a bunch of players. They lost Michael Porter Jr., lost Russell Westbrook. I feel like they're going to fall. No, they're not. They're still the Denver Nuggets. They still have Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, the best player in the league, the best player like in the whole world right now. And then they have Jamal Murray, who he's been doing really good recently. They finally got rid of Michael Porter Jr. and his horrible contract. And then they added a bunch of players. I think they got Bruce Brown back. They got Jonas Valanciunas. They got, like, I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope back. Like, a bunch of good pieces from their 2023 run that they can make another push for the finals. Every single year, no matter who is in the Western Conference, you know the Denver Nuggets are going to be in there, in that conversation. And so that's why I have them at the 3rd seed, but just not above these next 2 teams. We are now down to the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. Now, this was the standings last year, but I have the Thunder at the 1 seed and the Rockets at the 2 seed. The reason I have the Rockets at the 2 seed is because the Thunder are the Thunder. Shea is going to get better. even better than he was last year. Chet Holmgren is going to get better, way better than last year. He just got a lot of development from a finals team. Jalen Williams is one of the best young stars in the league right now. They have Alex Caruso coming off the bench. They have Isaiah Hartenstein. They have such a good, balanced roster that's why I don't think they're going to be a 68-win team like they were last year, but I still think they're going to be the 1 seed because, like, if you just look at their roster, it's so balanced. And like when you look at the Rockets roster, they are so good too. Like, they just got Kevin Durant, the best scorer of all time, but Fred VanVleet, their point guard, is out for the entire year. Amen Thompson can't fill his shoes. He's just not that type of guy. Alperen Sengun, he's really, really good, but not like super duper good. Kevin Durant can give you 30 on any given night. Like, they also have such a good roster, but it's just not that much better than the Thunder's roster. And that's why I have the Thunder at the number 1 seed and the Rockets at the number 2. Because I feel like if the Rockets and Thunder were going to go into a 7-game series, the Thunder would come out on top. Like, the reason the Rockets never made it to the Western Conference Finals last year was, I think they got bounced by the Nuggets in the second round. Because the Nuggets, I think it was I don't know, but the Rockets are just so young. They were so young last year. That's why they didn't make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I see them making it to the Western Conference Finals this year because now they have a veteran like Kevin Durant, who also has Jeff Green there, and they were drafted in like the top 5 picks in their same consecutive drafts. And so, like, I just see now that they have Kevin Durant, he can give a wiser, more like development to the young guys that they can make a real run for the finals. But I just don't see them making it past the Thunder, and I see the Thunder going to the finals and maybe winning it back to back for the first team to do that in a while. We've had like 7 different champions in the last like decade. Wait, no, not decade. Ever since the Raptors, we've had every single different champion win. We've had the Raptors in 2019, then the Lakers in 2020, then the Bucks in 2021, the Warriors in 2022, Nuggets in 2023, Celtics in 2024, and Thunder in 2025. So 7 different champions in the last 8 years. And so, yeah, I see the Thunder being the 1 seed and maybe going on to the finals. It just depends on how this bracket does. But, okay, that is all for this episode. This was the Western Conference. Later today, I'm going to be doing the Eastern Conference, so look out for that video. And thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the Eastern Conference standings later today. Peace out, guys. Later.